my name's Artemis, and in the lead up to MFF, it seems there's been a bit of a falling out between the human pups and us furries. And so I thought I would capitalize on that little piece of drama and make a little video about the human pups and us and how we're the same in some ways and how we're different in others, and overall why people are getting all up their own fucking asses about this bullshit. I swear it's not just because I saw it was all kicking off on Twitter and thought, fuck, I better jump on this bandwagon and get my sub count a bit higher. I mean, it is that, but it's also going to be a good video. I fucking hope. So, what are human pups? Well, human pups are people who have chosen to dress up as dogs and act accordingly. Already this is sounding pretty fucking similar, if I'm honest. They're often in things like leather, latex, neoprene, that kind of shit. And they do their best to exhibit all of the traits of being a dog. They scratch, they sniff, they beg for treats. You know, all of that sort of cutesy, stereotypical canine bullshit. You know, the kind of stuff that I've become more evolved, more learned, and have gotten past in my puppy years. So, first off, it can be pretty fucking obvious by the heavy use of leather and chains that pups play into BDSM quite a bit. In fact, you could say it is quite an overtly adult-themed affair. Their outfits are very in keeping with the BDSM aesthetic, and in fact, so's the mentality in some cases. Some pups will just stay with the typical leather hood, others will go with a full body outfit with paws, tail, the lot. Furries, on the other hand, are all cutesy and fluffy, seeking the soft and fluffy cuddliness over the sleek sort of leather that the pups like to go for. And while we also mixed up with our fursuits, having the partials, the half suits, the digi suits, all of that shit, we all kind of agreed that the head seems to be the most central, important part to it all, or in the pup's case, the hood. Now, I'm not talking like the hood like, you know, white men of 40 refer to when they're going through a slightly dangerous neighborhood. No, I mean the actual hood of, like, being a dog, like the leather ears, you know, like, let's be honest, a kinkier version of this. Puppets tend to follow the similar kind of design. There are some differences, and some people do make them unique, but they always tend to have a same generic look to them. Furry heads, on the other hand, differ massively from head to head. They are always striving to look different and unique, unless you're going for a certain maker who seems to just use the same head face for everything. Did we miss any? Oh no, we got them all. Okay, cool. Our heads are designed to be comfortable, to be breathable, to have the best vision possible for what is essentially a giant piece of fucking foam. Puppets also have good vision. They also are breathable, but they tend to be a bit more restrictive. You know, the whole leather and chains vibe tends to do that. Collars are also quite a big crossover between us. Furries like to wear collars, pups like to wear collars, but pups kind of see a bit more significance to the whole affair. So some furries will don a collar. It will usually be big, cartoony, with a nice big name tag. Some of the yiffy bastards like those I'm a total fuckboy harnesses. They also like to pretend that they're sled dogs. We all know what that fucking harness is for. Don't lie. But furries don't tend to wear a collar outside of their fur suit. Pups, on the other hand, do. They tend to use it as a sort of identification, a sort of symbol to the world saying, I am a human pup. And they also use padlocks. Yeah, you see, this is where it gets a bit more into the headspace of what it's like to be a human pup. You see, a padlock plays into the BDSM world of having a master and, well, I want to say slave, but you can say pup, submissive, whatever, really. It might even be a switch. By the way, I did Google all of these terms because I'm an innocent dog and I don't actually know them. I swear. As much as you dirty bastards on Twitter try to fucking corrupt me. Looking at you, brass. So the padlock is a symbol. It's a sign of saying, I'm a human pup, but I am owned. I am off the market. This is another way in which we differ. Furries will not often be owned by anybody else.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't use the word master, but I mean, I suppose...
Oh, please, do not let these bastards draw that conclusion. I've told you time and time again, our relationship is... It's no secret that us furries hold our characters as the absolute highest pinnacle of being a furry. We create whole new species and even fucking hybrids. And sometimes we just make shit up, pull it straight out of their ass, just to express those parts of their personality that the whole human thing just can't quite get across. And in some ways, this is also true for pups. Obviously, they don't go for any other species. It is purely a canine thing, probably because canines are the superior race. And then we're just going to let people comment that they disagree, right? Yeah, cool. But they have a whole headspace that goes along with it. They become something else. It's a form of symbolism. Putting on that hood takes away them as being a person, and they become the pup. In fact, you could go so far as to say that in all ways except physical, they are a wolf. Dog. But the thing is, human pups will always act feral. The very key word that really truly defines us versus them is the word anthropomorphic. Furries love anthro animals. Those are animals that have gained human traits. They walk, they talk, walking on 2 feet, by the way, as everybody remembers this from the Zootopia trailer. They're essentially animals that are becoming human. Pups are almost the reverse of this. They are humans who are becoming dogs. They do not speak because dogs do not speak.
So what? I mean, how the fuck do you even explain all of this?
Look, if you want to explain the logic of me and you in these videos and what exactly all this is supposed to fucking be, go right ahead. Go on. I'll wait, it's okay. One term that could apply to some people, I'm not gonna say that it's everyone, I don't want to make an assumption, that only makes an ass out of you, an umption, is the word otherkin, whereby they might believe that they are actually a pup inside a human body, and that by becoming that pup, they're becoming their true selves. Now, this is another way in which we are similar. Obviously, furries vary massively from person to person, animal to animal, whatever you want to call it. So, some of us are otherkin, some of us are furrians, that's the word, I almost fucking forgot, and a lot of us are just people who dress up as animals and portray a character. In fact, there are some dickheads who don't even do that. They just get by on their fucking art skills and social skills and actually being a nice person. How fucking boring. If there's one thing that we both struggle with, it's the whole it's a sex thing perception that we get from the public. The difference here is actually a little bit more difficult to define. As I have mentioned before, right here in fact, go and give it a watch, to some people, the furry fandom is a highly sexualized thing. There are those that see it as an outlet for all of their sexual disgusting urges. Ugh. But by and large, we're actually a family-friendly affair, usually safe for work, that is cutesy, cuddly, and just appreciative of anthro-animal characters. The same can't really be said about pups. From their appearance to the whole mindset, it's always going to be seen as a sexual thing. Their connection to the whole BDSM community would always be the dividing factor between being a fetish and a fandom. Now, this is not to say that every pup is going to find sexual gratification in being a human pup. In fact, quite a lot of them come into their own little community as a means to escape social awkwardness or difficulties and anxieties. In fact, when you really think about it, that's how most people come into the furry fandom as well. You see, we're not so different, you and I. But one of the major differences is the reaction we get in public. Now, being a fursuiter, we are often mistaken for being charity workers or children's entertainers. We'll be approached for selfies, pictures with children, that sort of thing. Really, that's not going to happen with pups, is it? And the kind of selfies they have are always going to be a bit more adult-themed. Quite frankly, the child that goes running up to a human pup for a lovely little picture is quickly going to be grabbed away by the really judging parent who's just going to see it as what they assume it is. A sex thing. We create conventions that are sometimes family friendly and family inclusive even. We have parties, parades, we fundraise. Pups tend to be a bit more insular with their interests. So they have their conventions, but they are more adult themed and also adult orientated. They don't tend to go out in public suiting like we do, where we might just wander down to a park and have a photo shoot. It's not really the sort of thing that's going to happen here. To be honest, the kind of attention they would get from a judging public, that's probably a good thing for them. And if we don't get that stunning reaction being cute, fluffy, and cuddly, then, you know, how's it going to be that easy for someone who's in leather and chains? So if we have a look and check those totals, so it actually looks like we have some things in the same and some things are different. It's almost like I deliberately wanted to show some of the differences and similarities. And you remember when I said we're not so different, you and I? We're not so different, you and I. See? I did say that. But it's true. And it's no wonder that some people find themselves belonging to both fandoms. And it's no wonder that some of the traits overlap. And in some ways, we are quite the same. And I suppose you could say that they're the more hardcore, adult-themed version of being a furry. But seeing how varied the furry fandom gets, I wouldn't say this is entirely true. And in terms of the whole MFF drama, does it really even matter? On the one point, yes, it does have that appearance of being more adult-themed. And since fetish and kink-related things never really paint our fandom in a good light, perhaps they shouldn't be allowed to wear their hoods in the con space because it just isn't in fitting and in keeping with the atmosphere that we're trying to promote. But on the other paw, surely if we want to spout out all the fucking time about how welcoming and accepting we are, maybe we should actually fucking act like that from time to time. I get it, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but if you trust people and their discretion to not go too overboard with it, then what exactly is the fucking problem here? I mean, hell, I've only been to one con, Fuzzled, this year, and as soon as 10 o'clock hit, out came all the latex maid outfits and mersuits. No one batted a fucking eyelid. Is this really all that different just because it's a little bit more obvious? But I'll let you make your mind up. It's up to you whether you want to keep your own opinion or, you know, be right. So there we go. I hope this was informative, balanced, and unbiased for both sides. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit biased, but I tried my best. I look forward to the millions of comments from the pup community about all the things I got wrong.